Hi, friends. I'm going to talk a bit about the resources that are available to students when you are students at Boston University School of Public Health. Um, so first, we'll start with the School of Public Health specifically. So I'm the wellness coordinator at the School of Public Health. So that means I'll be your go-to person for all things health and wellness and taking care of yourself and stress reduction. Um, and so I broke this up into a few different categories. The first is individual support. So I um, check in with students individually, and we do self-care planning. We talk about academic accommodations. I help folks find therapists. Anything that you need during your time, I'm happy to meet with any and all students and help you find what you need to make your experience and your mental health feel its best right now. We have community support. So every week we have some sort of wellness activity or programming. So progressive muscle relaxation, journaling, physical yoga classes, all in the idea of reducing stress, and also trying to build community amongst the SPH folks. Um, and speaking of community, we have new programming called Community, spelled TEA at the end, with the hopes that we'll be drinking tea while we're there. And it's going to be a monthly kind of like check-in support group and just talk about how folks are doing, which will be really fun. And I send out monthly newsletters with tips and tricks for stress reduction and well-being. And then we also have community building opportunities. So we have community luncheons with various different themes that's listed on this PowerPoint. We have a run club. Of course, during COVID, we cannot run together in person, or, many of us cannot at the same time. However, we are on Strava, so we can still be tracking our miles that we're running and support each other through the app. SPH has lots of student organizations, and ones that are specifically focused on health and well-being are the Mental Health, Public Health Connection, and Express Heal Triumph. And then once Fuller Gym is open, there are weekly classes there. The student pass for the weekly classes, I believe, is $50 per semester. And if that is not in your budget, we can definitely help you to make it more accessible. And we also have like volleyball tournaments and dodgeball tournaments there. And then in terms of what happens at the larger BU, there is individual support and that looks like individual counseling or referrals to the community. And that's through behavioral medicine. There is primary care, LGBTQ plus health care, so gender affirming care, and they can help with labs, gynecology, any sort of physical health referrals. There's Sergeant Nutrition, so that is good if you are struggling with any sort of disordered eating, or you're not really sure how to meal prep during grad school, whatever that is, the nutritionists will be there to support you. And there's also food security resources. So we have Med Campus specific resources, and then BU has resources for students and a food pantry, and definitely reach out if you want more information about those things. In terms of community support, there are support groups. As of right now, I'm talking about COVID specific times. So these are all happening virtually. So there's a group for anxiety for LGBTQ+, there's a grief group, lots of really important things, and one specifically for graduate students. And then there's also collegiate recovery groups. So for folks who are in recovery from a substance, they have support groups. When it's safe to be in person again, they have social outings to like bowling and things like that. And then in terms of community building, there is BU's Wellbeing Project, and you are, as a student, allowed to apply for funding, and they will give you up to $2,000 so that you can have some sort of community building or health and wellness related activity or event for your fellow peers and yourself, which is really cool. The CRC campus has Fit Rec, which I'm sure everybody knows about because they have a lazy river and an indoor track and a lot of really awesome things. And then there are spiritual and religious resources such as Hillel and Marsh Chapel, and a lot of student groups for various religions or spiritual beliefs. And please let me know if you want any more information about any of those resources.